But it was fun, because you would get calls in the middle of the night with somebody who says, I overslept at the airport counter and I've missed my flight.
Okay.
Our team is trying to handle that situation.
Good afternoon and welcome. Welcome to the seventh edition of Thinkly Talks Business Networking with Vipul Bondal. It's my absolute honor to invite and introduce today's guest, someone whom I know for a while now. For almost 9 years, I know him. Someone whom I admire and respect. He's a visionary entrepreneur who has left an indelible mark in the world of business and travel. A very good friend, almost like a brother to me. Welcome, Mayang Marda. Mayank Marda is one of the driving forces behind Vivid Vision's Exim Private Limited, a pioneering company in Exim consultancy, and is also the promoter director of Vibrant Experiences. Vivid Visions as a company has set the gold standard for trading duty credit scripts in India and is one of the leaders in its field. Mayank spearheads the travel and events business for over 15 years now. Vibrant Experiences has become a trusted name in three distinct verticals: in corporate travel, in education institutes related travel, and for group tours of all types, all kinds of, whether it's for social groups, networking groups, and so on. So any kind of group tour travels. So they have made themselves a great name. Vibrant Experiences excels in creating transformative experiences which ensure that every journey is imbued with joy and camaraderie. Please join me in welcoming Mayank Marda, and let's listen to a very inspiring story of an entrepreneur's journey. Welcome, Mayank.
Well, thank you so much, Vipul, for those, kind words. You can only pull out such, lovely things to say for someone. Well, you are gifted with that, and I truly admire you for that. And it's been a pleasure to thank you for inviting me here. And it will be a pleasure to speak with you, Vipul.
Mayank, your journey has been one of those which I really admire, because I've been watching you over the years, and we've had the opportunity to interact also several times. Your journey, I mean, no pun intended, but your journey as an entrepreneur has really been inspiring. You started very young. I think you started when you were below 20, I believe.
Yeah.
And it's not been always easy. In fact, it's probably been one of the toughest journeys I've ever heard. And so can I request you to walk us through your journey as an entrepreneur, so that we get a dose of inspiration right at the start?
Thank you, Vipul. To be honest, only a few close friends and associates really know about this. So what it seems otherwise, to the world, they usually see you where you are currently, right? And that's how they associate or they know you. But yeah, you were absolutely right. So the journey began a little early in the field of doing business. As a family, we come from a family in doing business. But yeah, I entered in young. I started off with how it would be with a classic, I would say, Marwadi family. Uh, I was writing the books of accounts. I used to like numbers, Vipul. So I was writing the books of accounts, and it was not really very easy. We were doing some businesses which my dad was an expert with, but we, did not like how it happens. When you are in a business which is not receiving its payments for whatever reasons. I'm not going, this is back more than 25 years, in the year 97, 98. And I was all of 18, 19 years old that time, you know. And that's when we decided, okay, we have to, actually relook into the business. So people probably see you from your journey currently, with that fancy car or associate you with some other person, but they do not know about, the times you have
Right.
taken the train, missed the train, actually overslept, from my office at Nariman Point and to my house in Andheri. I would come and, sometimes I have reached Borivali, on one or two instances, even Virar, because I was
My
so
God.
dead tired. I would start my day at like 7:38, like
Right.
every other person, in this city, but the city is full of opportunities, and I'm blessed, I will say, with a good, family, and with a bond which a joint family can do. My
Right.
brothers, my dad, they were the true heroes in this journey. And, together we could come out of a situation. We were in debts at that time. I'll be very candid and honest, when we started off that business. And it was what I was doing at that time, the year's turnover would be, maybe an amount which is, less by 20x of what the day's turnover is now in the company. Okay. So that just is an idea which I can tell. If you are doing something honestly or sincerely, you can scale up. So in 98, when Vivid Visions restarted with the same business which my dad was a pioneer at, uh,
Right.
to 2019, we reached a zone where we were probably, doing more than 10% of India's market share of trading of those scripts. It's been a very fulfilling journey, and but I have to tell, it's been hard work, sleepless nights. People don't see you like, they do not know that backstory. You probably know, but not many people know, that there is a lot of effort and hard work which goes. And I think that is where, that entrepreneur journey really began for me, from the grassroots. We had nothing, you can practically say. When you are in debt, you obviously have nothing, right?
Right.
So it is something like that. So we had nothing to, like, scaling up and becoming bigger and better at Vivid Visions. We are blessed with, a wonderful team
Yeah.
which we built along the way, so full credit to them, also, as to, in this journey where now Vivid Visions has become, more automized, I would say.
Correct.
It's gone on that auto mode. It is the one which takes care of, the business per se of the group
Right.
mainly.
Right.
Then coming to vibrant experiences, So again, this was a family venture because of in between we dabbled with, exports and imports as merchant exporters, importers also. We've done that. So that took us to places, to many large, corporations we met, to many, countries we traveled to. From that germinated the thought of, vibrant experiences.
Correct.
Can we make a difference to, other people in their lives, in their journeys? Literally, yeah, no pun intended in that also. And yes, we thought this looks something interesting, and that's, if you ask me how the journey or entrepreneurship has been, that's how it started. But it's been a fun ride. I mean, I can just tell you so many nuances of how, it was a small business. At Vibrant, we actually started again with the grassroots level. This became a part of our DNA. We want to start a business only at probably a grassroots level and then scale it up, you know.
I think you started with one country, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was New
Absolutely.
Zealand or something like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Was that right?
absolutely. You're right.
I remember the first time we met, you were talking about holidaying in New Zealand, and
Yeah.
now I think you've spanned the entire world. Practically, no corner of the world is left. where you haven't had your own
No,
reach, so to say.
you're very kind, but yeah, the business has scaled up from, a small office and a team of only 3 people. It grew to a few branches across India, to some many countries in the world, and we have our partners in so many destinations. It has been a journey, but I still remember, those questions of how it actually began,
Right.
we would have interesting things, if I can tell you.
Sure.
uh, I've had, like, points where in the journey, people are talking about a honeymoon, and that's what we were designing. So that was
Right.
the basic start, family groups of 2, 4 people, 5 people. That was the start point. But it was fun, because you would get calls in the middle of the night with somebody who says, I overslept at the airport counter and I've missed my flight.
Okay.
Our team is trying to handle that situation. To somebody who is doing the self drive in New Zealand, and it has happened with us. He had a diesel car and he filled petrol in it.
Oh gosh. Okay.
And he's calling us, now what do I do? You have to find a solution to
Yeah.
that. To somebody telling you, यार हनीमून पे इतना मजा नहीं आ रहा है. Really?
Okay. I think we'll discuss this offline.
Yes. So, these experiences really, kind of enrich what is, travel all about.
Right.
What is it? It can throw up something new every day. And, you have to find a solution. And that's what we thought we'll bring about with travel, helping people.
I think, Mayank, what you've told me is just one part of what the real story is, but by itself, it's extremely, extremely, enriching and inspiring. You know, uh, you know, what I also understood about you is that you're not just any other travel firm as we know it. I mean, there are travel firms and there are travel firms. And what you believe in is providing a fantastic experience on the travel, on the tour. And you do this by understanding who is going, what is their goal of going. Sometimes even finding out things that they themselves are not aware of, that they are planning to do this, and then incorporating that into the experience, so to say. So can you, just tell me a little bit about what is the thought process that goes behind organizing, let's say, one of these experiences? And I'm purposely not using the word tour here. I'm using the word experience.
So, you're absolutely right, Vipul. If I was to, tell you, um, most people used to earlier ask, it's maybe, I won't say it, but, आपका package क्या है? You know? So
Right.
that was the typical question you
Absolutely.
will get to hear as, a travel company. कि साहब मेरे को यहाँ जाने का है इसका पैकेज क्या है
Correct.
and that was the one thing which we decided we will change. It was not important the where, the where we, as you also mentioned, we spoke that, where keeps on developing. There are
Right.
190 countries plus in the world. The where will keep developing. But the why and the what, that is more important. Why
Right.
you want to do this as a corporate, why do you want to, actually go to a place, that is important. Then we, more than that, what you want to achieve with it. you know Once you start answering these questions, you actually can bring about the difference in what that person will be experiencing. It is important to know, the team needs bonding, or the team needs to up their performance. or the team needs to rejuvenate because they've had a fantastic year. Let's go all out and celebrate, you know.
Right.
You deserve it. So once these questions start coming up, even the people, the management starts thinking, oh, we just thought that this will be another incentive which we want to give, you know.
Yeah.
So it does not need to be that. So the where is something which we can design. We are, you know, you come to us because of the kind of experience and the specialists we have in our team, you know. But the why and the what, that is what really kicked us. And that's what got us going. And that's what people feel, you know, when they come to us.
The why and the what. You explore the why and the what, and then you create a valuable experience for them. Fantastic. So, I you deal in three distinct verticals, as I said in the
Yeah.
introduction. So one is your corporate travel, where typically budgets uh, are relatively better.
Yes.
Then you have the educational institutions, the schools and colleges, where I think the budgets are probably the lowest.
Yeah.
And then you have the third sector, which is the groups, which are social groups, networking groups, group of friends, and so on and so forth, where I guess the budget would be in between these two. So, do you kind of bring in this philosophy of exploring the what and the why for all of these three areas? I mean, and can you give me some interesting examples of how you've done it?
Okay, okay, great. Thanks for asking this question. It is very, very relevant and important, Vipul. So, if you don't mind, I'll share a couple of examples, you know.
Sure, that'll be
So,
fun.
you know, I'll tell you about this one instance. Like, this was in a European country that I've
Right.
gone for a business meeting, okay,
Okay.
with one of my local, partners over there. And we are basically, you know, all decked up, wearing our suits, ties. It's a classic, you know, European day, like a good, not very cold, but not too warm either. And we, you know, actually reach the parking lot. This meeting of ours is at 8 a.m.
Right.
Okay. Standard time over there. And we've reached the parking lot at about 7:40. Okay.
Okay.
And in time for the meeting, don't want to be late. Okay. So this guy, who's with me, he drives up to the a parking lot, and there are two buildings on either side. He drives up to the far side, okay, and he parks the car over there, okay,
Okay.
and we get off, and on the natural instinct which we have, I start walking into the building, which is right
Yeah,
next
closest
to
to the
that
building.
parking lot
Correct.
entrance, okay.
Right.
And in this heavily accentuated European tone, he said, no, 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 my brother, we're not going there. Okay. We
Okay.
have to go the other side. And, you
Oh,
know,
okay.
once I didn't understand, okay, what he meant, I said, yeah, let's go. I mean, we'll go up, you know. So he said, no, 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 that side. Okay. I said, okay, that side. Why that side? Okay. So we walked, and this parking lot is a huge parking lot. Okay. Almost, I will say, you know, it's a walk of more than almost close to 750 meters to a kilometer.
Oh, okay.
Wondering, you know, and it's fully empty at that time, by the way. Huh?
Okay.
So we go, while we are walking there and we reach that building. I said, Jack, why did you, like, you know, park the car right there and not right here? Because
Okay.
this is also pretty empty, and this is right at the building where we want to
Correct.
go, you know.
Correct.
So he's like, no, no, you didn't understand, my friend. We've come here early. See, 7:40, 8 o'clock is our meeting. See, it was a good walk, 9, 10 minutes. We are warmed up now. Okay. How do you feel
Right.
about that? I'm like, okay, I feel good. Yes, it makes sense.
Yeah.
But then what else? So he's telling me, what about my friends and colleagues who will come in late? Maybe they come at only 7:50 or 7:55.
Right.
Okay. And they want to rush for the meeting at 8 o'clock. I must think for them. I must
Always.
like actually, create. And oh my God, it was like, Archimedes or something, it just
How
came up,
thoughtful. Yeah.
Eureka
How
came up to
thoughtful.
me. I've never thought about it. And when I picture it back to a context in India, you know, we have one parking lot and there will be two cars always fighting to get inside, and each
Correct.
one showing the other one, I came here first types,
Correct.
no
Correct.
one wanting to take the slot which is right
Further
a
away.
little further away.
Yeah.
Okay. So that changed my thought process, Vipul, as to what kind of empathy can we bring this into our tours? Can this become a part of like teamwork for
Right.
our people to understand? And yes, I just had to talk about this back in office, and they were like surprised, like, wow, do people actually do this,
Yeah.
they
I
were
mean,
like, so
it's a revelation. I mean, I'm, this for the first time I've heard, something like this. I mean, more often than not, you're trying to look for if you reach early, you try to look for a space close to the door so that,
yeah.
you can get in early, maybe leave early. But, I mean, here's a guy who's actually sparing a thought for the one who has lesser time to reach, and, making sure that, that person also gets the opportunity to be there on time. I mean, that's truly empathy. So, you kind of started adding these into your programs.
Into our program. For the corporates, we spoke about this, how we can bring about by different, virtues on a tour. How do we
Wow.
get empathy? How do we enhance teamwork? See, he was also thinking about his teammate, right? Who was going to come in just in time, you know?
Right.
Yeah. So this is something, if as a world we start thinking about this, don't you think it will become so much more better? Uh, so
True.
this is something which it taught me, instantly. And I think, it is going to teach a lot of other people also when they kind of imbibe it. So this is something on our corporate tours, Vipul. Uh, See, we are always going to show you the place, okay? When I talk about social groups, okay?
Right.
For social groups, if I tell you how it is, you know, okay, a quick question, okay, to you. Sorry,
Yeah.
this is
Sure.
not my part, this is your part.
That's all right. Okay.
But how do you buy a Ferrari, okay? Do you
Okay.
buy a Ferrari with your mind or with your heart? Okay,
So buying a Ferrari would be a hard decision.
a
100%.
hard, a hard decision,
Absolutely.
a hard
Absolutely.
decision. Absolutely right.
Because
If
nobody in
you're
his right
using,
mind would actually think of buying a Ferrari
yeah, if you were
just for the
thinking
cost
of
of it.
using it with your mind, you would have probably bought 20 Honda Cities, right?
Absolutely.
Instead of
Yeah.
one, I have 20
Absolutely.
now, right?
Yeah.
So this is also an like a tour is also an aspiration for the
Right.
people, right? For the groups. We always tell them, what is it that you require? Because these are the people who travel also, okay? Uh, They have the thought process, they have everything available, the resources, but probably that heart over the mind
Mind.
is where somewhere they get like, in a fix. They
Correct.
need to understand, how will it happen? This element of how their emotion is what we use for the
Wow.
social groups, is something we kind of, ensure that will be delivered alongside a tour. And this is what I truly believe in, that each one should experience. See, going to the most popular monument, clicking a photograph with it, it's a given. Once you
Yeah.
go to that country, wo hoga, aapko
Yeah.
मिलेगा. But what you need to also do is relish that place, savor the culture, soak in the vibe. That is more important, which we try to, if that answers your question to the extent of, how we design or plan.
The various experiences that you do for your customers, and the fact that you are giving it, giving it that extra thought, whether it is, talking about empathy to, corporate tours, or whether it is, talking about aspirations to a social group of people. I mean, yeah, I mean, that's a lot more. I haven't, frankly and honestly, come across anybody who kind of designs their programs, like this. And can you elaborate a little bit of what you do, let's say, for a group of students, or your, educational customers, if I may use the word?
So, educational institutions. So I always get reminded of this, Three Idiots dialogue. Okay,
Right.
children are always thinking life is a race. If you don't
Right.
run fast, कोई आपको कुचल के चला जाएगा, and you will
Correct.
be a broken anda. Okay, but that is what they are feeding in continuously. The competition, the feeling of, कोई और आपको कुचल के आगे चला जाएगा. That I think, I learned this in a different way on one of my travels.
Right.
I'll use this example about slow food versus fast food. Okay,
Okay. That's interesting.
What is fast food is a culture which we all know about. Okay,
Right.
we are very proud as, not only Indians as a community, we keep saying, oh, I have my lunch on the go. I grab a
Correct.
sandwich, it takes me only 5 minutes. I'm back to my work. Okay.
Yeah.
This is how I'm doing it. Everything is fine. But, is it something really which we want to give to our generation ahead? Came to a concept where I was introduced to slow food and
Okay.
slow life. Okay. Slow food,
Okay. Okay.
meaning
That's interesting.
slow food is actually, spending an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours over your lunch or over your meal. Starting from an hour, going up a little more, okay?
Okay.
Actually relishing that bond with the person who you are enjoying that meal with. This is very, very important on a tour, you know. And as students, this is the time. They say, all of us know, all of us will vouch for those few friends which we have, and we will
Correct.
always say, my best friend is from my school. Correct?
Right. Yeah.
सबका यही
Absolutely.
होता है. All right.
Correct.
So that is the time when you're forming that bond. It's the purest friendship. You
Correct.
don't know what the person's last name is. You
Correct.
don't know what his family does, okay, or how big they are or not, okay.
Correct.
You are only his or her friend because of that bond. Where are these bonds made? So, in the tour, we actually talk about this slow food, slow life. This is a very important aspect, I feel, that they ultimately have to learn. See, there is a reason why they say India is still 137th on the happiness index. And
Right.
this concept, which I learned, was from one of the happiest nations like Finland, the Scandinavian belt. Consistently, year after year, they are the happiest country.
Right.
And these people are the ones who are talking about this. They're laughing at us, thinking कि he's proudly saying कि 10 minute में खाना खा लेता है,
Amen.
10 minutes for grab a sandwich. No, no, my friend, you got it wrong. Spend more time. That's when, so this is again a learning from travel, which we have incorporated. This is something which we want to share with our program for the education. you know it's not about running around. As an Indian thought, most of the people will say, I have 8 days only, yaar, I have to see this place. मेरे को कैसे भी
Yeah,
धड़ 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 आपको ये सब दिखा देना पड़ेगा. Okay, but I am understanding it's been 45 years staying in Mumbai. Can I tell anyone that I have seen full of Mumbai also? I can't vouch
correct,
for it with a sincere hand on my heart that I have seen everything in Mumbai or I know everything in Mumbai. Something new keeps coming up, right?
correct,
As
correct.
proud as I
Absolutely.
am about being a Mumbaiker, but I can't say that for a fact. Similarly, when you go for 8 days, 10 days to a country, you can't see everything about that country. But what you should come back with, you should soak up the vibe of that place. You should try and get that culture or see what is it newly that is not there with you already. What is that, one thing which they are speaking about, which makes this place different? The gastronomy, you know, the way they celebrate, or simply the way they, are enjoying their meal, or as simple as that.
Yeah.
These things, if you incorporate, I think that's the best.
And what better way than a meal to, kind of understand this? Because typically a meal will incorporate everything that is there culturally about a place. And typically, when you have a longish, elaborate kind of a meal, you'll kind of get a flavor of everything that happens in a place. So, yeah, I mean, and of course, along the way, you build friendships, you build bonds which last forever. What better way to bring children and students to this kind of an experience for life? They're going to remember it probably for the rest of their life, and remember that they went on this tour and then they had this long meal where they were not hurried. They were not asked to finish something in 20 minutes and reach, and how they had a good time. And so yeah, I mean, and I'm happy to know that you incorporate all of these things into your tour. And I'm sure your customers are better off than their immediate competitors, because they've had the experience of experiencing tours with you. I mean, when there's so much of thinking that goes into uh, a tour from your perspective, plus whatever else that they have thought of, I'm sure it's a lot of value add, which which we can't describe otherwise. I mean, it's tough to describe it. I'm sure it's well experienced, and it's difficult to describe the value that comes out of such travel. Okay, so I'll ask you a few uh, what can I say, a few esoteric questions, if I may ask. So what's next? What's your vision for your company from here on?
Well, no, I don't want to talk in terms of numbers. See,
Not numbers, but
thing,
I mean, what
one
is it that
thing,
you're looking at?
which we have always believed in, which is, why we actually came into being, is help share happiness. Okay, that is also the company philosophy. So when I'm sharing with you, how we started or what, there is a business which takes care of us. So honestly, the travel business as a family business, people coming together, trying to share their experiences with other people, it is, you know, actually, it was like karma calling, people say, what is your USP? Or, they say it is their unique selling point, right?
Right.
But For us, our calling was in the unique support point. Okay, are
Okay.
we, where can we make a difference in someone's life? Okay, so
Okay.
what next is that remains with us, imbibed, deeply rooted in our heart, that
Okay.
if we can transform, enrich people's lives through experiences,
Okay.
through actually going to a place, helping the world come closer, become a better place,
Right.
fostering growth, of an individual himself or as a community. These are really, I would say, our, thoughts as to why or what is in store for us ahead.
Okay. That's
Okay, by 2030, we also dream that, we will, have, so many, people who would have traveled. Those are things which are
that's par for the
for
course.
the
That's par for the course.
books,
Correct. Correct.
but yeah, we want to be the world's favorite experience curator.
World's favorite experience curator. Okay. That's a
That
tall
is,
ask.
yeah,
That's a tall ask.
yeah.
Great. So there is a question I'm taking here at this point in time, Mayan.
Okay,
So Rajesh Mishra has a question. He says, can you share some tips for someone who wants to start their own travel related business?
sure. Yeah, I mean, um, I am not like I know it all, but a very humble submission is, if you genuinely believe in making a difference in a person's life, you know, travel is that space. Travel will keep teaching, and it is evolving every, you know, day or minute or however you seek. Okay. So if you actually want to make a difference, please do research, maybe physically experience and then recommend. Okay. And, if you're passionate enough to serve, service should be of your, core interest, because it is an out and out service industry, right? Um, you have a lot of information available otherwise, but
Right.
what will differentiate you from somebody else is your ability or your thought, that I will actually bring about a difference in his or her life through the experience which they will receive. So that, I think, would be something which I would say, if you were to start, please go ahead and do that.
Well, I'm sure you get asked this thing very often, Mayank. Technology is, changing almost everything that we do today.
Uh,
Uh, you know, these days, you have any discussion on any topic, and you'll find experts everywhere. To make things more complicated, we have something called AI, which has started, I think, started almost like ruling
Yes.
our lives as such. So I'm sure AI has caught up with you guys as well. So how do you manage to keep yourself, you know may I use the word, keep yourself ahead in business? Because I'm sure when you come to meet a client, or the client comes to meet you, whichever way it is, they already know everything that they should know about the tour. It's something like what doctors say. The patient has already decided what is the line of treatment. So I'm sure that's the way it is with you as well. So how do you kind of deal with this, and how have you dealt with it over the years? Because you've seen, over the last 19 years, technology making all the difference to your sector. So what is your way of handling it?
Well, Vipul, I'm saying, we are very happy with AI coming in. Okay. It genuinely is a boom. We are, about AI. Okay. If we talk, let's say, what is the country's biggest economy driver or something, or the measure is with their stock market, right? So
Right.
you have AI coming in with stocks. People are now buying and selling stocks based on AI.
Yeah. Yeah.
But will that human element or research or instinct, can that be brought in by AI? So far
Not
I
yet.
don't
Not
think.
yet. Not yet.
I don't think so. Yeah, not yet. And I don't think because however fast they can calculate, it can be used as a benefit. But that element of a human mind is something which probably cannot be got by AI. So while we have welcomed, we are very happy. In fact, you said it absolutely right. Most of them come with absolute knowledge about a place. So we are very happy with that part. So why they come yet to us? Because they have never experienced that place. What
Right.
we offer is a team of people who has visited that place multiple times.
Hmm.
Okay, who is very well updated. See, AI will throw you the best options based on what it has been fed into the system. The most
Correct.
popular things get picked up and they get dished out to you in 5 seconds, 10 seconds. Ta ta ta, this is the itinerary which you can do.
Correct.
But which after you get that itinerary, then how you are to go about it? What is the best place? They will say, okay, you can have this in this place. But where will you enjoy
What
that
does it feel
soccer
like?
tot?
Yeah.
Yeah. In Austria, where will you enjoy that soccer tot? That AI may not be able to tell you definitively, which probably a person who has been there and experienced it 5 places can. The secret hidden cafe where you can enjoy the best coffee in Vietnam. Okay. Or that lavish, dinner in a palace with like, enjoying that meal with your friends. That may not be the suggestion from AI.
Yeah.
For that, you need somebody who has an experience or expertise. So while AI is more than welcome in our business, we are very happy to, have AI. I still feel the validation will come only through an expert. And that's where, people are more and more happy to engage with, the entire community of people who are helping them.
Well said, Mayank, because as you rightly said, instinct is something that AI can't replace, or experience is something that AI can't replace. That's something that only human beings can, as of today, bring to the table, and that's something that you bring a lot to the table, and that's something that is what you give your customers, which at this point in time, AI, try hard as it might, is not going to be able to give you. It might give you all the information, but the experience of being there and having experienced a place is something that has to be done only by being there and by somebody who has been there. So I think that's really, really wonderful. Okay, so let's take a question on business networking now, Mayan, since that's our topic and that's what we are here for. You've been a black belt networker. You've been, I know that you've been networking since you were a kid almost. You were in a Rotractor. You've
Yeah.
been in several networking organizations. You've been in BNI, and so tell me, how has networking helped your business?
Again, not the point where you meet people, Vipul. That is a given when you network, right? But how enriching the experiences which they share with you transform you as a person. That I think is the best part about networking. How you can give back to the community
Right.
is the best part of networking. Uh, Having been on these organizations, sometimes, serving in some kind of different roles, you know, it has transformed me as an individual, as a person, and I take these back into work, take these back into, my business
Right.
and apply them. So I think, this has been the true gem out of the networking which has come up.
Yeah. Do you have any tips on, for budding entrepreneurs or even for senior, entrepreneurs who've been in business for many, many years on, on business networking? Or what would be your advice, let's say, to somebody who comes to you and says, so, sir, how do I do business networking? And what would you say?
Well, first and foremost, it is when you don't think about, when you don't enter with what you are going to get, but you enter with a mind what you can share or what you can give. If
Right.
that is your first approach, I think half the work or more than half the work is done. Because the joy which
Very
you
interesting.
will experience when you are able to, kind of um, help someone out. I have seen that in real life. As I
Okay.
said, life was never always hunky dory. It's like a circle. You're up, then a business can go down, it can go up again.
Yeah.
So when somebody else does it for you, the joy which you feel is like, unparalleled to, when you get it, when
Right.
you are able to give it to someone, that gives you a greater joy. So if there is somebody who really thinks about networking, my only 2 cents about this is first going to be, the joy of giving will be far greater than receiving, and you will experience it whenever you do this.
Sure.
It will be experienced by you, and then only you can know it.
Thank you. Thanks, man. That was brilliant. I think giving somebody, and not really for the sake of, not networking just for the sake of receiving, but with a sense of giving. I think it is a very great takeaway, I think, from what you just mentioned. Uh, there
Also,
is
I'll
one.
add, sorry,
Yes,
I'll
please,
also
please.
add to this one. Okay, this I learned maybe as when things were not so good,
Right.
in terms of business in, 25 years or slightly more than that, But I realized this, and not because they are my parents, but my parents were doing charity or work when they did not have enough, so to say, for themselves, or you were in
Wow.
debt, you know.
Okay.
So at that time also, I remember my mother and my father actually, doing things.
Charity.
Uh, and I never understood, I was 19 or 20, and I was like, no, we don't have, at that time you were thinking, you don't have too many things for yourself. How are you doing this and over and above what you can,
Right.
but it was only a little later in life, Vipul, that I could relate and, understand that what they were trying to do or teach
Correct.
us, as a family is far more bigger than anything else in life.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful, Mayank.
Yeah,
Uh, we'll take one question also again from the community.
sure.
So this comes from Shantanu Jadhav. He
Okay.
says, in what ways do you think travel broadens your understanding of market trends and consumer behavior?
Wow, very interesting and very, very relevant,
Okay.
when we talk to different corporates, what they will achieve, or how, I remember we've done we've done some tours with, not only children, with some communities of business people also. Uh,
Right,
they are very good at what they do over here in India. They were more like from the farming sector, I will say. So in
right,
India, they were doing well. But, on this tour which they took to, Israel with us or something, at that time, there was a lot of ease to go there, and I hope it is going to soon be like that. But, what they learned, over there was something absolutely transformative. And believe me, when they came back, and this was not like a study tour, right?
right.
This was just going there, meeting people, and of course, it was, kind of arranged also, but
Correct.
just the feel of that place, the meeting the people and understanding their theory, ideologies, they came back and they wrote like, couple of three pager thank you letters, how their business has changed.
Right, right,
So everything you go, I mean, slow food for me was a new thing, right? I learned it only through travel. So a basic thing of life to something really that eureka moment or what you can get for your business. Travel can absolutely change your perspective. I have no doubt about that. It just needs to be, you can't find it when you are rushed.
correct, correct. Fantastic, fantastic, man. Okay, so I think we've now, I don't know whether you realized it, but we are now actually at 55 minutes since we started. It's almost close to an hour that we had been talking now.
I did a lot of
And
talking, maybe.
well, I mean, I didn't realize it was so long. So, you know, any closing remarks, anything that you think we've not touched upon, uh, you know, in the last 1 hour, if there is anything that you think you wanted to share, but maybe the questions were not aligned, so you couldn't. This is the time.
I mean, I'm happy to, talk about something which you would like to, or the audience or somebody else would throw up.
Sure.
But yeah, I feel, as people, sometimes we don't value the time which, we spend on researches, suppose, So, when people like the AI helps you, AI does something for you quickly, right? In a few minutes. Spend only that kind of time. Don't tire yourself too much into going into the nitty gritties. Leave that more to an expert
An expert.
because they would have real life, thoughts or shares
Right.
which you may not be able to read or find. And probably that will make life more simpler. This is, again, more like you can say an American or a European concept where they have, experts or domain experts and they really go with them or trust them.
Right.
So yeah, I think maybe value your own self is what I think is
Fantastic. Well
something
said.
which people can take away while they are doing a lot of hard work and enjoy themselves. That bond, the hugs which you want to exchange after you've completed an activity, invest more time
Right.
in that. The camaraderie which will develop within a team, after you come out of a race or like an experience, that will last you for your lifetime.
True.
Nobody can take that part away from you, you
True.
know. So
Absolutely.
concentrate on that. Remaining everything will follow.
Fantastic, Mayank. Thanks so much for your time. Before we leave, can you please send me your email ID and your LinkedIn profile, which I will share on the community group, so that listeners who have tuned in, would like to get in touch with you, may want to, get associated with you, may want to give you some business, may want to, reach out to you and learn more, can do that. So if you can please leave me that, I will put it on the group immediately. And uh, in the end, I want to actually say thank you very much for sparing the time. I know you have a very, very busy schedule, especially considering that this is the season, but you still gave us a lot of your time. Thank you very much. And were so open about, your knowledge and your journey as a business entrepreneur, and, sharing some of your deepest thoughts, and, letting us know what has taken you from, as I was telling you the other day, typically you hear rags to riches story, but in your case, and with your permission, I'll say your riches to rags to riches story, which is absolutely inspiring. And, wish you all the best. And from here on, to you and Team Vibrant, and looking forward to interacting with you more in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vipul. Thank you. It was indeed a pleasure. Uh, it is that bond which I share with you, that I look up to you, and I learn so much from you all the time. This is for all you listeners also to know that Vipul is, a go-to person, always ready to share his experiences with everyone. And it indeed is a pleasure. I look up to you like an elder brother, and it was probably that was the reason why I could just open up, because these are few things. To be honest, I'm telling you, there might be some people from within the family or from close associates who do not know about
Right.
many of these past stories.
Sure.
But I felt so comfortable, and that was all thanks to you.
I'm
And
glad you did. I'm glad you did. Thank
yeah,
you, Mayank. Wish you all
thank
the
you.
very best and look forward.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah, you have the details. Thank you.